In this video, I'm going to look at how to use the Vernier Data Share web app, which can be found in either Chrome or Safari browsers. Once you've connected to the Vernier Data Share by typing in the URL of the device from which you're getting your data, you'll see a screen something like this. This data has been taken from a LabQuest 2, and it's taken from a position sensor, a motion sensor, which is giving us two graphs, position and velocity. The functionality of the web app isn't as advanced as Logger Pro, but there are several things which we can do. Firstly, we can choose the display and what we're going to see. If we look at this button here, the graph icon, and we click on that, we can choose between seeing meters, which allows us to see the real-time data from the device. There's nothing here at the moment. A table of the imported data, or we can choose to see one graph, two graphs, or even three graphs. I'm going to choose just one graph, and I want to see the velocity time data from this device. If I click on the y-axis label here, I can choose what to display. So at the moment I'm looking at the velocity time graph, and this is actually for a trolley which has just been pushed along a flat surface. So we can see that here it's not moving, and this section here it's been pushed and the velocity is increasing, and then it's continuing at a constant velocity. If we intend to actually use this graph and maybe export it and use it in a lab report, we might want to actually change the appearance somewhat. I'm going to only show the data points. I'm not going to connect the data points, and I'm going to give the graph a title here as well. Rolling trolley, flat surface. And I'm going to click Done. One of the features of this web app is that we can actually plot trend lines and look at statistics. If I click and drag across this data here, this is the data while the trolley was moving at a constant speed, and then I click in between those two places that I've just dragged, I will get a window which pops up. It'll allow me to put on a trend line if I want to, but in this case I'm just interested in the statistics. I want to see what the average velocity is. It's telling me that the mean or average velocity is 0.668 meters per second. If I want to adjust the position of the over which the average is taken, I can just simply click on the little brackets there, and I can adjust the position to suit. I'm going to delete that now by clicking on it and clicking delete, and I'm going to go back and have a look at the position time graph. So I'm going to click where it says velocity on the y-axis, choose position instead, and uncheck velocity. And we can see that for this trolley, after it's had a push, it's rolling along, the position is increasing gradually, indicating this constant velocity. I can find the velocity from the position time graph again by clicking and dragging out a section I'm interested in, and this time I want to actually put in a linear trend line. So I click anywhere between those two places that I've dragged, click on linear and add that, and it'll plot a linear trend line, and we can see that the slope here is 0.669. It's exactly the same as the average velocity I got from the velocity time graph. So if I'm happy with that graph, I can actually export it. There's a button at the top right here which allows me to export either the graph or the data. If I export the data, I can export it and load it into Logger Pro if I want to do further analysis, or I can just take the graph, print graph, and click landscape so the graph is the right way around, and then I can just save it as a PDF, which would be the best thing to do if I'm going to import it into my lab report. If I did want to export the data as well, possibly to generate a data table, then I can download the data. I can give my data a title. Rolling trolley flat surface is okay. And it's going to generate a table of comma separated values, which can be opened in Excel. So here's the downloaded file, and if I open that up, we will just see an Excel file opening up with the data in columns. And here's the data, 30 odd data points here, so a relatively large data table. We'd have to do some work with that to make it look nice for a lab report, but at least the data is there in a table. Going back to the graph again, we see the X label here can also be changed if we did want to. I don't particularly want to change it from time, but we can see that it is possible to change it to any of the other parameters here. And then we would have to change the other axis as well. So we can change things around. There's quite a lot of flexibility there. We can also display more than one set of data on the graph in that way. And that is how to use the Vernier Data Share web app.